Welcome back, Airbnb family. So today I want to talk to you about how I wasted a few $1,000s by making a couple unprepared decisions on this most recent launch, and I'm going to help you prevent the same mistake that I made. So let's jump into it. So to explain what we're up to here, we are picking up 25 properties in about 30 or 40 days. Now I just picked up a run of leases and I'm picking up another set of leases probably about 10 days from now. So the mistake we made with the first batch, let me explain to you. So we picked up 5 leases, which means that we bought about $22,000 to $24,000 worth of products, mostly on Amazon and then some from local wholesalers. So here's the mistakes that we all made. We activated our first lease too early, which we picked up our first lease and then we picked up 4 more a couple days later. And so that did not give us enough time to let the slow stuff arrive on Amazon, right? Next, because we placed such a big order, Amazon thought there was somebody hacking into our account and buying all this stuff, so they actually shut the order down. We had to recover it. But when they recovered it, they only recovered about 30% of the order, and the rest of the order was unfulfilled, and we didn't catch that for a few days, which was a mistake because we didn't, of course, double check to make sure the whole order was completed. By the time we found that and fixed it, we reinstated the rest of the order, which was still a huge chunk, and because it was so big, Amazon couldn't charge all of those transactions at the same time, so they did not again complete the entire order. A bit of that batch ended up in the save for later section, and we recently discovered that the stuff was still in queue and we had to order it. So what had happened now, and what brings us up to speed here, is we activated all 5 apartments. We still haven't received everything that we need, and we are, of course, going to be about a week into these leases, and it's going to take another 4 days probably before they're going to be ready. And that's a huge waste of time. It's about 11 days worth of extra time that we could have had this fixed. So here's how to prevent what we did wrong, and let me tell you how much it cost us to make this mistake. So the expense wasn't in the fact that Amazon screwed up our order or didn't fulfill it all. The expense is in the rent we're paying. So the total cost of these leases is probably about $7,500 a month, which means we have a daily cost of rent about $250 a day, right? So I've told you all that we try to get all of our leases done and launched in 48 hours, which is definitely possible for any single unit. So now what we have though is we're sitting on 5 leases for about an extra 8 days, which is about an extra $2,000 in rent we're paying before we have the opportunity to collect any revenues back on them. So here's how you do this properly, which we're going to do on our next set of 5, and I'll update you on progress for that. What you do is you activate 1 lease like we did, but you do it further out. Activate your first lease in your batch about 10 days out. That gives you time to order the slow stuff. Make sure that nothing is on back stock and it doesn't screw up your plans. You're not immediately under a time restraint. This allows you to get with a wholesaler and find out if things are going to be able to be delivered in time, also to acquire stuff. You could even talk to your wholesaler ahead of time to let them know your intentions and to make sure that the stuff you normally like to buy is in stock, right? And you can start planning a plan B if he doesn't have the stuff. So now that you have your first lease coming in 10 days, you start to order the slow stuff. Stuff that may not be on Amazon Prime, stuff that it takes that much time because you're not using Amazon. You might be using Wayfair, stuff like that. So then as you get closer to the day of the first lease, you are going to start ordering everything else, the 5-day stuff, and then of course the Amazon Prime 2-day stuff as you get closer and closer to that lease. So that's the first lease. This allows you to break up all of your transactions and get everything around the same time. You're going to tell your building that you're going to pick up the rest of your leases in a week or 10 days after the date of the first lease. You don't have to commit to that. You can always bump them forward, right, if you're ready, but now you have that wiggle room. So next, you take that 1 lease, you get into it, you have all of this product and all of the furniture that came in on Amazon that you have to assemble and everything that you have to make ready. So what you do is you start to assemble all of your furniture in that 1 room. So if you have an option of studios or 2 bedrooms or whatever, if you have a 2-bedroom in your lease portfolio, take the 2-bedroom. It just gives you more room to assemble everything, right? So now you're getting everything ready to just distribute throughout your building, right? So now you take the next 4 or 5 days, you organize everything, get it easy to move around into the rest of the building. You make sure that all your furniture is assembled, make sure you're not missing anything. And then you can call the building and say, hey, we're actually taking the leases tomorrow. They will say absolutely, no problem. And you activate those leases, and then you just start to distribute through the whole building. And now you've activated those other 4 units really quickly because everything's already made. You just have to do the, of course, arranging of furniture, taking the photos, and activating your profiles to, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to do that on our next run of properties. And by doing it like that, you're paying 1 unit's rent per night for however long it takes you to get ready. So set your first lease date a little farther ahead, start ordering your stuff based on how quickly they can come, break up those transactions, stage everything, and put it all together in one room. And one last bonus tip. One thing we also regret is you could hire help, right? And this is something that I guess I always do. I'm a do-it-yourselfer kind of guy. So I'm sitting here trying to put together 5 apartments worth of furniture by myself. So I'm going to hire somebody to help me get this done because it's just taking so long to put together nightstands. Who would have thought, right? So hire your help. That way you might be able to get all of the assembly done in just 2 days. And that way you can activate your next run of leases, even 3 or 4 days after you get your first one. So take that advice, plan your launches a little bit better, not as hasty as me. I got a little overexcited, and that will save you a lot of money. So thank you for watching Airbnb Automated, and I will see you on the other side.